Hello everyone. Today we're going to start our journey in learning BaZi. Now the reason that I am not a BaZi practitioner, nor am I an expert at it, I'm learning with you. I am actually a startup founder, and I got interested in BaZi because it mirrors a lot of the things I like, such as credit cards and personality types. It's a set of complex rules that are self-consistent, and it makes a lot of sense. Unlike personality types, which you have to tell the system things, whereas the BaZi, you just give the birthday, year, day, month, and hour, and it automatically can compute. So it has almost no input of you telling the system your personality type. And to the extent how accurate it is, I'm actually quite impressed. Now, the reason I want to learn it as an entrepreneur was I heard on a podcast episode that it's very important for you to know what you are destined for. If creating a business is not in your BaZi chart and you try to do one, then you're more likely to fail. And if it is, then you're gonna feel like super empowered and you feel like being yourself when you're trying to do the thing that's in your BaZi. Now, you might say that is superstitious and whatnot, and I wouldn't know until I studied the food of it. And you live only once, so might as well give it a try. And I'm just intellectually attracted to these complex frameworks with its own self-consistent logic. All right, so here we go. I'm looking at this BaZi. To study BaZi, there are the 10 heavenly stems, and then there are the 12 earthly branches. Today, we are only going to focus on the heavenly stems. And I will switch between Chinese and English. The 5 elements are 木, 火, 土, 金, 水. And each one of the elements has the yin component and the yin component. So there's the yin polarity, and then there's the yin polarity. The 木, 我们有阳木和阴木。阳木叫做甲木，阴木叫做乙木。那甲木是什么样子的呢？甲木是一个 very tall tree. It also indicates spring. And then 甲木 also represent the east. Okay, so in Chinese compass, the east is actually on this side. It's not on this side. It's on your left-hand side if you're looking at the compass, which is crazy. Now, 木生火. So each step produces the n+1 step. In going in order, each element actually produces the next element. 木生火，火有两种火，一个是丙火，一个是丁火。丙火是什么呢？丙火是 large flame. It's like a huge sun. It also represents the summer, and it's on the south. 丁火 is the small flame. Is the candle fire. And it's also the summer, but it's also in the south. Now, 丁火 this is the 拼音 right here. 这个是丙火。火有两种火，阳火和阴火。阳火叫丙火，阴火叫丁火。那土有两种土，戊土和己土。那这个己和这个乙很相似 ，so don't get confused. 这个是自己的己，这个是甲乙丙丁的乙。OK， 这个是乙。So 戊土 represents large mountains, dense earth. In Chinese compass, earth is in the center. So it's not any one of the compass. It's just in the center. And then 己土 is the soil, is fine soil. That's also at the center. So the soil is at the center. 金根金是阳金，心金是阴金。So 根金 think of it as it's metal. It's the strong metal. It's the yang metal. So it's like a tractor metal. It's like a huge tractor going through the farm. Okay, this represents fall, and this represents the west. 心金 is the fine metal. It's the jewelry. Okay, it also represents fall. The water is 人水 and 癸水. 人水 is oceanic water. It's strong water. It represents the north, and it also represents winter. Okay, winter like that. 癸水 is rainwater. It's the mist. It's the gentle water. And that represents north, and that represents winter. 木生火，火生土，土生金，金生水。And each one of them is 甲乙丙丁戊九戊己庚辛壬癸。Now, let's talk about the relationships. So each one of those elements actually produces something. It also controls something. And so by definition, it's controlled by something else and it's produced by something else. And then there's themselves. So production, the n step element produces the n plus 1 step element. So 木生火，火生土，土生金，金生水。So the thing that it controls is called its wealth. And so n step element controls the n plus 2 step element. So similarly, 木 controls 土. So why you say 木 controls, that makes no sense. Well, when the tree needs to grow, its roots are penetrating the soil. So the wood controls the soil. I know that's fascinating. Just take it, that analogy, that visualization. Then the soil controls water. Because if the water is so strong, the soil blocks the water. Soil controls water. The thing it controls is also its wealth. And in later on, you'll study the wealth is husband, wife, career, and money. So that's why it's called wealth. It's a thing that you controls, which is 2 steps away. Anything that's 2 steps away, it's your wealth, is something you control. So that seems pretty important, right? And it's also your romantic relationships. And so because it's 2 steps away and there are 5 steps, so if you jump 2 steps, it will wrap around. So 水 controls fire, 火. And that makes a lot of sense. The water extinguishes the fire. That's the easiest one to remember, actually. And then fire controls metal, 金. Why does fire control metal? It's because the fire melts the metal. So 火把金变成水. So that is the control. So the converse is also true. The authority refers to the thing that it's being controlled by. So it's controlled by the thing that it's n minus 2 step away. But because there are 5 elements, it's being controlled by the thing that's n plus 3 step into the future, or the n minus step before the element. But either way, it's the same element. Okay, so to give an example, 火 is being controlled by this thing that is 2 steps before that. So 1, 2, 水. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that is the authority. Now, resource is the corollary of the production. If n produces the n plus 1 step element, then n is being produced by the n minus step element. Also, that makes sense. Okay, so that's the resource star. So each one of them, there's a relationship and there's a term to describe the relationship. Fair enough. The friend is just myself. So if I'm 水 and the friend is just me, myself, the water. So that is the relationship. Now, given this knowledge, let's do some tests. So here is don't worry about the last one. So what is this one? This is 己. 己 is in wood. 根, what is 根? 根 is 盐, metal. What is 癸? 癸 is in water. What is 乙? 甲乙的乙. 乙 is in wood. Now, what is 己 again? 己is in soil. So this is wood, this is soil. Wood penetrates soil. A lot of times I get confused, what the hell is wood, what the hell is soil. Wood is growing, so it's inspiration, it's creativity. And then soil is stability. And then 甲乙 这是不是己 乙 乙 what it's afraid of. 乙 is afraid of 根 because it's like bushes and it's just bulldozing by the metal tractor. And then 丙 is large fire, it's like the sun. 丁 is the small flame, it's like the candle sun. 甲 is the steady tree. Okay, it's not soil, it's trees going upwards. It's creativity, it's production. And then 戊 is the mountains. So now let's talk about magnets and combinations or natural attractions. Imagine you divide the heavenly stamps into 2 lines. The up and bottom will combine or naturally attract. So let's go through it. 甲 and 乙. So 甲木 plus the 乙土，不是乙土，己土，甲和己，甲木和己土。See, I often confuse the 乙 and the 己, so just make some flashcards and memorize those. 这个是己，自己的己。Okay, so they look so similar, right? So 己土，己土. This does not exist a 己木, okay? It's always 己土. So just know that. 甲和己. So in this world, it becomes soil. So even though the 己土 is into, if you scroll up here, you'll see 己这个是乙土乙木 okay? So 己土 right here, 己土 is the in soil. But when the wood, young wood, and plus the in soil. The soil actually wins. The way to visualize this is the inspiration plus responsibility is equal to stability, which is the earth. Now, we talk about this. This is the 乙木, which is the bushes, plus the tractor, the 根茎, in wind. So the flexibility of the bushes, someone that's just like having no direction, but super creative, super flexible, super artistic. When they meet discipline, this is the refinement. This is the actress meeting their agent, and that becomes a refinement, a amazing star. Okay, so that's what the real world relationship. 丙火 is the large flame plus the small jewelry. Well, the fire is gonna win. So the fire is going to transform this into water. So when you have the passion, huge passion, and this is someone usually that likes to, like pretty self-aggrandizing, very charismatic. But people like to say 心金, which is the in jewelry or in metal. 他们有一个物木虚荣, they like the material goods. So these two people are like to attracted to each other. And what follow is this, the wisdom, the water is for out of it. So this is a transformation. Then the 丁火 is a small flame plus the oceanic water. And that's also a transformation. When you have a small flame plus oceanic water, that forms wood. And so the small subtle flame plus vast ocean is inspiration. And so the ocean with the flame, a little bit of trees and bushes start to form. And then 戊土 plus 癸水. And that's also a transformation. So that's basically stability plus mists of rain. And that ignites the passion. And that's the fire. So these characters naturally attract to each other. It's gonna get really complex because sometimes they will sort of like 甲寅 and then 乙寅, like that. What the hell is yin? Yin is not even present here. The yin is the earthy branch. So there are 12 earthy branches. But what is helpful to me, and I'm learning it with you folks, is to create flashcards and then memorize them. And you can go back to this video and kind of like draw the visualizations and so on. So like if I look at this, what the hell is Xin? Xin is the refined metal. What is Ji? Ji is the small soil, is the in soil. Wu is the yan soil. And then Bing is the yan fire. Ding is the small fire. And then Yi is the in wood. And then Jia is the big tree, the yan tree. And then the Gui is the misty water. And then Ren is the oceanic water. And Gen is this tractor bulldozing the Yi, which is the bushes. So that's how I remember them. And what do you think? Maybe you are a huge practitioner, and let me know if you have any inspirations or any things you want to add to it. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Bye-bye.